Okay. All right. Hey guys, welcome to our team call. I'm super excited to see all of you here. We have a really, really awesome call tonight. I'm super pumped to hear all of this information. I'm not sure if you know, or I didn't actually know all the details about this until like last week when we were sitting here on my porch talking about it. But Emmy actually has some type of degree in social media persuasion. So I was like, what the hell? Why haven't you did a call about that yet? So basically, have no idea like what she's going to share with us. I just know it's going to be awesome, and she's like really excited to talk about it. And you all know Emmy. If you're brand new on this team, you may not know her, but she is one of our diamond coaches on our team. She's also the founder of Team Imagination. She is a Success Club 5 All-Star Legend, which means that she's hit Success Club for 24 consecutive months in a row, which is amazing. And she is also a team builder on the leadership ladder. So Emmy and I met on Instagram. I was sitting on the toilet just scrolling, and I came across her, and it's just one of those things. We were actually looking at the message that I sent her when she was here, and I never followed up with her. So it's a stroke of fate that we actually are where we are today. She actually didn't respond back to me for like 10 days or something crazy. But
I didn't know. I didn't know there was such a thing as a DM.
Yeah, that was like way early in the DM creation. Yeah. But I'm super pumped to hear all the things that she has to share with us. She's been working her ass off so hard these past couple of months to achieve an awesome goal that she's like so close to achieving. And it's totally going to happen for her. But with that, I just want to make sure that everyone is listening. Everyone is focused on the call. We're not on Facebook. We're not on Instagram. We're not doing something else. We're paying attention to our call, and we are taking notes, and we're giving Emmy the attention that she deserves to have from us. So with that, Emmy, go ahead.
All right. Can everybody mute themselves? I think almost everyone's muted. I can't mute. Okay. There's like a lawnmower going.
I think I found something.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I will share my screen because I did make slides, because I'm going to try to stay on topic and try to not go longer than about half an hour, but I can't promise. So thanks for the introduction. I'm just going to go ahead and share, and hopefully you guys can see my desktop. I just made some pretty rudimentary slides, but it'll keep us on topic. So tonight, like Carolyn was saying, I'm going to be talking basically about, you guys let me know when you're able to see my screen. I think, are you seeing that now? Let me make sure before I start talking. Yes, thumbs up.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. All right, so I was going to share just a lot about what I learned from my degree. So like Carolyn was saying, I guess we all know each other really well in the Beachbody realm, but maybe not so much of our outside lives. And yeah, I guess I hadn't really ever shared a lot about my degree. I mean, I've talked about it here and there, but we were sitting on her porch and we realized that Carolyn was kind of asking me like what I would have done if I hadn't have been a full-time Beachbody coach. And what I studied in school, what I was going to be doing, this was not my plan A. So I just graduated and got my master's degree almost exactly a year ago today, I just realized. So this is good timing. And if you don't know me at all, my name's Emmy, obviously, and my background is I have my bachelor's in editing, writing, and media from Florida State University. So this is like my old cheesy graduation shot. And then I got my master's in media and communication studies. I specifically focused on environmental communication using social media, and I took a lot of courses in persuasion. So my actual degree is in media and communication studies. It was like a make your own degree. It was super loosey-goosey, and that's what I focused on, was persuading and communicating environmental and health issues through social media. So I guess I don't even realize sometimes how much it does directly relate to this. So if you are another person who maybe studied something completely different in school, and now you're doing this and you're getting a lot of crap from family and friends who are like, oh, you're not using your degree, because I know I got a lot of that at first, you probably will be surprised how much whatever you study does actually relate to this. Because my original plan was I was going to go run a social media account for some type of nonprofit organization. I wanted to do social media relating to health and specifically food issues. And if you think about what I do as a coach now, I'm running social media talking about food and nutrition. So it's literally pretty much exactly what I studied. I just realized right about the time I was graduating that I didn't want to sit at a desk working for somebody else the rest of my life. And this actually gave me a bigger platform to help people right away than my original plan A. So it directly pertains, and I do get people saying all the time, like, oh, you're not using your master's. And hopefully over the course of this call, you guys will see, first of all, yes, I am, and I'm going to try to make it as relevant as possible and give you guys basically in 30 minutes what I learned in 5 years, a lot of money in school, and just kind of condense it all and share with you what my takeaways are and some actual concrete tips that you can use when you're making your posts, because this is what I studied, so I'm going to try to make it as relevant as possible. So yeah, this was my background. Like I said, I studied a lot. I took some actual courses in persuasion. I took a lot of courses in social media and marketing. And then before I did this, I was a writer. I did a lot of communication for different magazines and blogs and ran different social media accounts. So it's pretty much exactly related to what we all do now. So I am going to basically try to condense my bachelor's degree into one slide for just some overarching tips. I'm going to spend most of our time talking about some actual theories and kind of geeky, nerdy stuff that I learned in my master's degree. So if you guys have pen and paper, this is definitely a take notes type of call. I am going to try to keep it as relevant and light as I can, but I'm also going to kind of geek out and go into some of the theory, because I think that it's one thing to post because that's how your upline tells you to post, but I think it helps if you understand the theories behind this and kind of the psychology of why posting a certain way actually has an impact. And so I'm going to go kind of into the weeds. So hang with me, and I will try not to geek out, but this was fun for me. I got to like revisit all of my notes last night and get super nerdy. So overarching tips, because I did study writing. That was like my first love. That's always been what I've loved the most. And for my bachelor's, I focused specifically on writing. And I think this directly helps to craft really good posts. And that's a huge part of what we do. And, you know, if your posts aren't on point and they're not really putting the message out there and they're not matching what you're talking to people about in private message, then your business is just not going to take off to the level it could. So first and foremost, with every single post you make here on out, some takeaway tips. If I had to condense everything I learned about writing in literally one slide, the first thing you always have to do when you're telling a story or posting is to hook your readers early. It's super important to start with some sort of engaging question, some sort of hook, something that's going to make them stop their scroll and like perk their ears up and pay attention to what you have to say. You have about 2 seconds to get their attention, and they're going to keep scrolling if you don't. So tell a story in every single post, no matter what. You need to be telling some kind of story. We hear that all the time, right? This is a big one, and it's kind of just overlooked a lot, I think, and it drives me insane, but you have to leave plenty of white space. I spent like a month in one of my courses studying like the psychology of like white space. What I mean by that is spaces within your giant block of text. Don't make it a giant block. Use your enter key, space things out. It's much easier on the eye. People read it more. It's like a pet peeve when I see like giant long text blocks, because people are going to skim over that because it's intimidating to even look at. So that's something, just an overall tip. So just like you want to hook them in the beginning, and then you want to give them something that's of value. And we always say this, your post should add some type of value. It should give them something to chew on and think about. And then you should wrap it all up nicely with a hook at the end. So just like you start with a bang, every single post of yours should close off with something for them to think about, some kind of punchline, something funny, something that ties into how you started it. And that's really like the main format that you want to be using in every single post. I mean, that's just like effective writing 101 that I learned in my bachelor's, and that definitely correlates to your posts. So if you can kind of keep that format in mind with every other post you make from here on out, it's going to just hit home and resonate with people that much more. So that's my whole bachelor's. That was all 4 years of my undergrad done in one slide. So now we're going to go into the actual what I wanted to talk about, which, like I said, is my master's part, where it gets a little bit theory-based. I'm going to try to keep it light, but this is my entire master's degree condensed into one PowerPoint. So like I said, what I studied is media and communication, and I focused on a lot of persuasive techniques. So we're going to geek out a little bit about this stuff. So first of all, what is persuasion? I put all these up here because these are examples of persuasive ad campaigns, and that's what I studied. Now, in our case, our ad campaigns, if you want to think of it that way, is promoting your business, promoting a challenge group. These are just examples that you guys have probably seen about not smoking, about drunk driving, Nike, about climate change. Those are all areas, and we all see persuasive ads all throughout our day, whether we realize it or not. We're literally bombarded with persuasive messages all day. I'm sure you guys have seen some like this, and they're just everywhere. So first things first, I think persuasion gets a bad rap. So if you're kind of thinking already that like the topic of this call is icky and it's going to be about like twisting people's arms and convincing them to do stuff, that is not at all what persuasion is. So I just want to clear that up now. So persuasion is the idea that, yes, you are convincing somebody to adopt a certain mindset, to see your point of view. I mean, when I think of persuasion, I think of like, I don't know, getting my boyfriend to like wash the dishes when he doesn't want to. So that's certainly a form of persuasion. It's meant for good causes. So this is not trying to convince somebody. This is not dragging somebody along. This is not trying to make somebody do something that's bad. If you're using this for ill purposes or you're twisting somebody's arm or being picky, that's called coercion. It's a very different thing. So that's like a definite split. Persuasion, you are hopefully using for the greater good to get people to eat their vegetables, get people to turn off the light switches and recycle. That's the kind of stuff that I studied with environmental persuasion. And so in our case, this is going to be persuading somebody to take care of their health or to join a challenge group or to start their own business and become a coach. So those are kind of our main causes that we're promoting. But all of these techniques and theories kind of apply to any type of persuasion you're trying to get across. But just wanted to get it out of the way now. Persuasion is not an icky thing. You're just literally helping somebody to make a decision that's going to be good for them. So clearing the air on that now. So the main kind of big overarching type of marketing that I studied is called social marketing. And this is just the basic kind of overarching concept. And it's really just the idea that anytime you want somebody to do something, whether it's buy a product or adopt a certain lifestyle or eat their fruits and vegetables, you want to make it seem fun, popular, and easy. That's kind of the trifecta of this. That's the basic premise. And for us, that means in our posts, we're leading by example, and we're needing to show people through our posts every single day how this lifestyle that we are promoting is fun, is popular, and it's easy. That's not to say we sugarcoat everything. We want to make people see through our posts that what we are doing, like this is a place they want to be, right? Like this is your chance to show people into this lifestyle. And that's why we always say that your wall should be a sneak peek into this experience, right? So if you're going to tell other people to do this, to join a challenge group or join your team, you better be making it look awesome because it is. So that's easy. But that is the basic premise of social marketing, is that you just want to make it fun, popular, and easy so that when people see this thing, whatever you're asking them to do or buy into or adopt, that they're like, yeah, I could do that, and that looks like something that would benefit me. So that's just the overarching concept that you want to think about with all of your posts, is that you're making sure to, when people see your wall, they might not know exactly what you're doing, but they want in on whatever it is. And so there's kind of two basic ways to frame any type of message. So when we're trying to persuade somebody, whether it's promoting our challenge groups or promoting our team, there are really two main ways that we can frame the message, which just means the way you can say it, the way you can craft your message. So we studied both of these, and there's gain frames and there's loss frames. And really a gain frame is a type of post that is showing somebody something really positive. It's going to give them hope. It's going to show them, here's the positive outcome if you do this behavior. If you join a challenge group, here's what you're going to get out of it. If you join our team, here's what you're going to get out of it. Versus the loss frame, which is showing somebody the opposite. If you don't do something, here's what's going to happen, and it's not going to be good. And really all you need to know is that both are effective. There is this theory, it's backed up by science, that humans tend to kind of pay attention to the negative. So it's kind of like the idea, if you see a car crash, you want to look away, but you can't, right? Like we tend to look at negative things, called the negativity bias. We studied it a lot. And so negative posts, if used right, and if used like sparingly, can actually be really effective in getting the point across. So if you make a post about how like negative repercussions of not taking care of your health now, I don't think you need to be going out and making that kind of post every day. And you definitely don't want to do it in like a negative, icky, like scary way. but you can weave that into your message, and you want to show people that, like, hey, you need to take your health seriously in our case. If you don't, like, here's what's going to happen. And that's what that susceptibility and severity is. It's just a fancy way of saying, if you don't do this thing or take this action, you are susceptible to the bad consequences, and the bad consequences are going to be really bad. And if you do that in a correct way, it's going to drive people to take action. So again, like, you want to mostly positive, have positive posts, showing people what they're going to benefit, giving them hope, making them feel like they can do this. But loss frames are pretty effective in the sense that, like, that negativity bias, people pay attention to negative. That's just kind of human nature. So those are the two main ways to frame your messages. But then all of that kind of just falls on deaf ears if you're not letting people know that, okay, there's this problem, opportunity, great. You have to show them there's actually something they can do about it. And this is really key. This concept in my program was called efficacy. That's just a fancy word, really, that means ability. So if you're making these posts and you're showing people this team and you're showing people this lifestyle, you're not letting them know that, like, hey, this is something you can actually do. This is something like, yeah, you need to take care of your health, and all of these bad things are going to happen if you don't. And then you just leave it at that without giving them a call to action of here's what you can actually do, then you've lost them, right? Like, this is huge, and a lot of ad campaigns kind of mess up this part of it, where they get their point across, okay, you need to buy this thing or do this thing, then they don't make their target market feel like it's doable. So I think this is, like, really directly related to what we do, because every single time that we make a post combating an objection, you should be thinking of that. I mean, you can think of it from here on out as, like, you're increasing that person's efficacy. So you're letting them feel like this is doable. So if you're going to make a post talking about, like, my boyfriend just walked in, by the way, so if you hear or see something, you come up. You can come up. I'm just talking. So if you make a post talking about, like, if you're short on time, he's normally screaming at his Xbox, so PlayStation, whatever. So if you're short on time, it doesn't matter. You can still do this, right? If you're short on money, here's why you can still do this. If you don't have a background in this, that's okay. If you have a small network, we're going to train you how to grow it. So anytime you make a post like that, we think of it as just an objection combating post or whatever you want to call it. But that is the big theory, is self-efficacy, and that is really everything. Like, if people look at your posts and they don't know that they can get involved with this, or if they don't know that this is something they can do too, you've lost them. So that's why I'm always telling my team, like, you need to be able to scroll through your page, and people should know really quickly this is something they can do. And I think we forget to stress that sometimes. So that is huge. If they don't think that this is something they can do, if they think that we're some special elite superhero people that are just always motivated and drinking shakes and it's not something they can do, then they're not going to reach out. So we have to stress efficacy in every post that you possibly can. Okay, you guys hanging with me so far? It's all making sense? Okay. All right, so these are a couple actual techniques. So this is something we studied a lot. Prompts, you guys have seen all throughout your life. They're really everywhere. So have you guys ever, like, gone to a public bathroom and there's a little sticker next to the paper towels that says, like, paper towels are trees, like, use the hand dryer instead, like little stickers remind you to turn off light switches. Once you look for them, they're kind of everywhere. Cody's giving me crazy eyes. They're everywhere. I've seen them in bathrooms. Look for them now. So anytime you see something like that, something reminding you to do a behavior or not do a behavior, or, you know, don't drink and drive, there's little, like, labels on alcohol bottles and stuff like that about, like, I don't know, enjoy responsibly. Those are all prompts. So prompts are just reminding people of what you want them to do. So in our case, we can think of these as our jab posts, right? Where we're just showing people every single day over and over and over, drilling it into them. This is something they can do. This is fun. This is easy. You know, this not easy sugarcoating it, but you know what I mean? We're just sparking their memory every single day. And the thing about prompts is they work best when they're encouraging a good behavior rather than discouraging bad. And this is kind of a theme throughout all of this. Like I said, you can frame things negatively or positively. People do pay attention to the negative once in a while, but overall it should be mostly positive. So you can think of every time you make a coach jab post where you're just showing the coaching lifestyle, this is a prompt. You really can't make too many of these That's the whole idea behind prompts, is you want to just constantly inundate people with this info. Remind them every single day, have you done your workout? Here's me doing mine. I'm going to show up every single day, and it's going to be in your face. And you just have to be super visible to your target market. You have to be clear. You have to be self-explanatory. So like I said, in our case, that's adding value every single day, showing people how doable this is, showing how, yes, you can get your workout in. It only takes 30 minutes. Anything that's just, you kind of want to think of it as just like a little flash in their face every single day, reminding them, because people forget. We have busy lifestyles and we might feel like we're posting a lot, but in reality, there's thousands of posts that people are scrolling through, and they're going to miss some of yours, which is why it's not enough to just post about this once a week. You have to be throwing these out every single day. So that's one really effective strategy just overall. And we've heard of this one, but we studied this a lot in my degree. This is like a huge theory, is offering incentives. And this is kind of like a polarizing thing within my degree. People like got their panties in a wad about it, because a lot of people were just like super idealistic and thought like, well, people should just recycle out of the goodness of their heart, or people should just eat right because they know it's the right thing to do. And like, hate to break it to you, but that's not how people work. If you think about like traffic laws, would you obey the speeding limit? Would you obey the speed limit? Would you obey traffic laws if there wasn't some sort of repercussion? If you speed, you get a ticket. That's kind of an incentive in an opposite way. So it's the same thing with everything we do. Like, yes, people should just eat right and take care of themselves because they should. But fact is, they're probably not going to, and that's where incentives come in. So I know a lot of us offer incentives at the end of the month or in our private messages, and it's like really backed up in psychology of all this. Like, it don't have to be anything big, just offering something like, the first 5 people that sign up, you're going to enter their name in a raffle for a graphic tee or some packets of Energize, or you're going to send out a shaker bottle to whoever signs up by midnight. It doesn't need to be anything big, but this is a huge thing that really makes people take action. And they work best when the incentive is paired with the behavior, which just means if you're trying to get people to eat healthy, you're not going to offer them a gift card to McDonald's as a reward, right? It has to be something that goes hand in hand with the behavior. And I thought this was interesting too, is that people always prefer, like the research shows that we prefer little tiny things now over large prizes later. So telling people that you're going to send them a $5 shaker bottle today when they order is way more effective than telling them, oh, if you finish this workout, I'll send you a gift card to Lululemon in 2 months from now, even though that wouldn't even be okay with compliance. But the point is, we prefer little things now in the immediate rather than long-term big rewards. So you want to make these well publicized. You want to make them obvious. And again, they're going to work better when it's a response to encouraging something positive. So join my team, join my challenge group. And obviously, we can't offer these all the time, but it definitely does help. So I thought it was worth mentioning just to know that like this is studied, it's backed up by theories. Like, it definitely does get people to take action. And I know I've hit Success Club purely because of silly little incentives. So, and I know other people have too. So it definitely does work. Okay. The last one on this, I promise this is kind of the last big theory, and this is like the dorkiest one that I'm going to get into. And so this is kind of like, hang with me on this one because this one's super geeky, but I think it's so fascinating. And I think it directly relates to this. I remember the day we learned this theory, and I, at that point, had already decided like I wasn't going to be going and doing a real person job. I was going to be a coach full time. I was like not really, to be honest, that tuned into grad school anymore. When they mentioned this theory, I was like, this directly relates. I'm going to write this down. And so like my notes were like, use this for Beachbody coaching. So I think this one's really interesting. And this temporal construal theory, kind of a mouthful, but it's basically the idea that as things are farther away from us in time, we care about them less. They seem less severe, they seem less urgent. It makes sense. And it's the basic idea that if you tell somebody like, you better work out, because if you don't, in 50 years from now, you might get cancer. Yeah, that sucks and we should care about it, but it's not as pressing as telling somebody, if you don't work out, you're going to be tired and cranky tomorrow. Like, we would rather care about the here and now. If you tell somebody some far off threat or some far off reward, yeah, it might kind of matter to us, but as time passes, we're going to forget about it. We're not going to care as much. We are just geared to think in the immediate gratification type stuff. So we want to know what is in it for us tomorrow, not years from now. How are we going to feel better on day 4? How are we going to feel better as a coach on day 1? That kind of thing. Can't tell if there's something in the chat, but I think I'm good. So the French fry example is the one that we studied in my class, and it's basically the idea that people might know they need to eat healthy. We might know that, like, okay, I don't eat French fries because I'm a person that cares about my health, and French fries are bad for me, and they have saturated fat and sodium, and I'm not the kind of person that's going to eat French fries. And that's all fine and well, but if somebody walks in and puts French fries down in front of you, you're probably going to eat them, right? Because that goes out the window, and all you're focused on is the here and now. French fries are delicious, you're going to eat them. So that's the kind of basic theory, is that you have to bring things to the front and center of people's minds to get them to really pay attention. It's just kind of human nature. So if you're going to make some posts, it's going to be a lot more effective to talk about how if you do your workout, you're going to be a better wife or a better mom or a better friend tomorrow, because you're going to be more energized, effective than trying to tell somebody you should really work out and you should really start your own business, because in 20, 30 years from now, the payoff's going to be huge. Be that as it may, it's not really going to get people's attention. So in the long term, we're thinking about big picture. We desire this kind of lifestyle. Are we a health conscious person? All these like big values. But when push comes to shove, we're thinking about, okay, yeah, I said I wanted to work out. I said I'm a health minded person, but like as of right now, today, I don't have time. So you need to break things down, and basically, the takeaway from this is you want to make things, if somebody commits to joining a challenge group, if somebody says they're going to join your team and they say, follow up with me in 3 weeks from now, in that moment, they're super into it, but we've all had that happen where as time passes, they flake off, they don't end up signing up. So every single day, or at least fairly regularly, you need to be checking in with them and kind of building up their self-efficacy, which, remember, is just that idea that, like, you can really do this. Because as time passes, they're going to get less and less confident, things are going to come up, and you need to be that person hopping back in and being like, remember how great you're going to feel on day 4. I can't wait for it to be, day 10 of your coach training and you've already signed up 3 coaches. Or I can't wait for you to be 2 weeks into your program and you've already lost that 10 pounds you wanted to lose and you're feeling great. Like, you need to make it at the forefront of their minds and just stress like the short-term gains. So does that make sense in terms of coaching? I thought that was like super, super relevant. The way I think of it is, once I get somebody to commit, okay, I'm just going to be like a bug in their ear, annoying them every day up until they do commit and reminding them this is going to be easy. I'm going to send you the link. I'm going to walk you through it. I say a lot of things when I'm about to sign somebody up. I go ahead and I give them the little gem test, like as though they're already on our team. I go ahead and I say, I can't wait for you to meet the team. I'm making your welcome post now. And basically, it's your role to make it feel very doable to them, because they're going to lose confidence as time goes on, even if they've already committed. So that to me is like a biggie. Don't talk about long-term things. Don't talk about these big overarching things. Like, we're immediate gratification type people. We want to know what's in it for us tomorrow. Okay, so the last one is using social norms. And I think this is exactly tied into one of the 4 vitals, which is why I wanted to bring it up. And social norms is like another big overarching theory. How am I doing on time? Okay. It's another big overarching theory that is used a lot in persuasive ad campaigns. It's used a lot in like convincing people not to drink and drive, or not to smoke, or like practicing safe sex, or like lots of all the common ads that are out there use social norms, which is really just this theory of like showing everybody cool is doing this or not doing this. And we want to feel like we're in the in crowd, like we are pack animals. We want to feel like what we're doing is what everyone else is doing. And so using social norms, to me, is what we do when we make recognition posts, or when we post pictures of all of us together at Punta Cana, or when we take a screenshot of the team call and show all of our faces. That is using social norms. It's showing our target market. It's not just you, working alone behind a computer in some dark room. There's actually lots of people in this. Let's see what's in the chat. Oh, no, you're good. Your phone died. Okay, that's fine. So you want to show people that this behavior is normal, that it's popular, that everybody is doing it. You kind of want to make people feel like all the cool kids are on our team, because they are. And you want to show people that this is not just you on your own. Norms are this is a particularly effective strategy when you show people that are in that person's peer group. So you wouldn't go make a post, if your target market 25-year-old women, you wouldn't go make a post about how like a bunch of 50, 60-year-old men are into working out, right? Like that wouldn't, nobody cares. That you want to show people that like-minded people that they relate to are also doing this. So if your target market's moms, highlight other moms on your team. If your target market are really busy people and you want to work with people who are students and have a million jobs, make posts talking about all the busy students and people who have a gazillion jobs on our team. And then they're going to feel like, well, okay, it's not just me. Other people like me are doing this, so I can do it too. So that's just another way that you're going to increase people's self-efficacy, make them realize they can do this. Again, you want to be promoting a positive behavior when you use norms, not saying, hey, everybody that sucks is slacking on their workouts, and like, you know, you don't want to make it negative. Obviously, you just want to say like, look at all of us doing this, you can do it too. So recognition, highlighting challengers, highlighting real people on our team, showing yourself at events, which is why it's so important to be there. If you weren't at Punta Cana, posting our pictures of those of us who were and talking about it, posting the heck out of it when you're at Summit, just showing people that this is a thing that real people are doing and having success at. So I know that was a lot because we talked about, so basically just a quick recap, we talked about frames, so positive versus negative, showing what you have to gain versus what you have to lose, and mostly you want to be using the positive ones. We talked about efficacy, which is biggie, just showing people that yes, you can do this, this is doable, this is not out of your reach. Prompts, just constantly dabbing, using incentives to get people to take the plunge. That temporal theory, which is just making everything, you know, close in people's minds, talking about what's in it for them now, not years from now. And then social norms. So does anybody, I know that's like a lot. Does anybody have any questions about any of this or want me to go over anything? Post in the chat or unmute yourself.
Well,
I have a couple more slides, but I didn't want to plow through until I had asked.
Oh, I was going to thank you, but keep going if you're not done.
Okay, just have 2 more slides. So that's kind of all the biggies. I'm going to give you guys some homework at the end so that this doesn't all just like float around your head, because I know it's kind of abstract, but I tried to bring it down to earth as much as I could. So the other 2 main things I wanted to talk about is just 2 quick slides. I know this is a lot of info, but I also took some classes in social media. So these were like the best classes. We like sat around and made memes all day, but we also studied a lot of real theories, and so some of it does actually relate to this. And I actually realized of all this is the stuff that I use every day. It's kind of subconscious for me, but I thought some of it might help you guys too. So I had to boil it all down. Like, these are the big takeaways. This is probably a refresher for a lot of us, but out of this social media 101 class that I took, a lot of what we talked about was just, again, the importance of talking to your avatar. So if you haven't done the avatar training on the Sweat Your Heart Out page on the website, do that. It is everything. So not only do you have to know who you're talking to, you need to know your social media kind of like hot times of the day to post. And that just comes from trial and error. I mean, across the board, for whatever reason, all the data shows that like early morning, like 11 to noon when people are on their lunch break, and then again late at night are the times when most people are on social media. That also just depends who your target market is. If it's students, it's going to be different than if it's stay-at-home moms. So you kind of just have to experiment and see what times of the day your posts get the most engagement and interaction, and that's when you want to post. So also engagement. Nobody really understands the Facebook algorithm. It's like top secret. My professor, who's like an expert in social media, she's like, nobody understands it except Mark Zuckerberg. It's top secret, but the one thing everybody does know for sure is that the more engagement you have, the more your posts are going to show up in people's feeds. So that means if somebody comments on your post, you better go back and reply to them. You better show people that you're reading it. Do not let your post sit there with a bunch of unresponded to comments, and make posts that specifically create engagement. So I do this several times a week where I go and I ask people's opinion. Like, here are 2 haircuts. Which one should I get? Here are 2 dresses. Which one should I buy? Tell me the best vegan restaurants in Denver. Where should I go next on my RV trip? Like, anything you can ask people's opinion on that's going to get comments is going to drive your engagement up. And it doesn't matter, like, I always know what haircut I'm going to get. I don't need people's opinion, but I ask it anyway because I know it drives my engagement way up. And when you get like 80 comments, your posts are going to show up more for like the next 2 weeks in everybody's newsfeed. Let me see what comment I just got. Yes, people love to have they love to voice their opinion. It doesn't matter if you really want it or not. I've had posts that like started basically riots on my page that I didn't mean to start, but whatever. I was like, thanks. You drove my engagement way up for the next month, and now I'm deleting you. So just make posts that ask people's opinions, like this or that. Which do you like best? What color should I paint my wall? Anything. Like drop your 5 favorite foods from Trader Joe's in the comment, like literally anything. And then you want to always vary up your types of posts, and we're going to talk about those in a sec. Always include a graphic. It's called Facebook for a reason. I know for new coaches especially, it's hard to put your face up all the time. People want to see your face. Do not have a profile picture that covers your face or where you're with a group. Don't have a profile picture where you have sunglasses on. People want to see your face, and it's a psychological thing. The more they see your face, the more they trust you. Like, eyes are a window into your soul, and it works. The more you can put your face up, the more people are going to, subconsciously, they don't even know it, but they're going to trust you more. And then finally, just ask and you shall receive. We talked about this in my class a lot. If you want more followers, if you want people to follow you on Snapchat or Instagram, make a post on Facebook and drop your Snapchat, is it handle? I don't even know. And be like, this is my Snapchat, come follow me. Or, just ask for whatever it is that you want. I'm trying to think of another example of that. But basically, just don't be afraid to just ask, tell people, hey, come follow me on Instagram. Or if you have a like page, same thing. Tell people to go like you over there, that kind of thing. And then last slide is just a few strategies that you guys can try out. These are actual strategies. I had to read peer-reviewed papers about this crap, and they work. So these are just a few actual types of posts you can throw up there every day. Snackable strategy. This is something that I do every single day. That's the official term, and really all it is a type of post that is a super short snippet, something that is pretty or funny or entertaining. It's kind of light fluff. And so for me, I post an inspirational quote every single morning, because the idea is that when people are grabbing their phone and they're groggy and they're rolling out of bed in the morning and they're scrolling to wake up, they want to see something light and easy to digest, and that's why it's called snackable. And so that's your best bet first thing in the morning, is to pictures of cats or your dogs or your babies or your food, something light. People don't want to be bombarded with heavy stuff straight out of bed. So that's a snackable strategy. How-tos do really well. People want to look to you as somebody they get advice from. So if you're an awesome, if you're great at knitting, or you're great at making vegan cheese, or you're super good at literally anything, make some how-to posts. Don't share a recipe from Pinterest that tells somebody how to do it. Put it in your own words, because people want to hear it from you. And then we just talked about polls, this or that, asking people their opinion, throwing up a funny picture and being caption this photo, anything that's going to get people to type. And then humor, don't want to forget to just keep it lighthearted once in a while. And then this is obviously huge for us, is you have to have calls to action. My rule of thumb is at least twice a week, at least, I have to be posting something that's an actual hook. So an actual, drop your email below, drop your name below, message me if you want a spot in my group, message me if you're interested in the sneak peek, message me if you want to talk about joining the team. You have to actually be giving people calls to action. People want to be told what to do. It sounds counterintuitive, but we don't want to have to think that hard when we're on social media. We want to see a post that tells us, here's exactly what to do to get in touch with me. Don't make people guess, because a lot of times they won't get in touch with you if you let them come to you. So you have to literally lead them to what you want to do. So those are all the different strategies. That's all I've got as far as slides. Like I said, I have some homework assignments for you guys to try some of these out. But if anybody has any questions, I know I've been talking for a while, so go ahead and unmute yourself.
I wanted to know if you could go to your Facebook and show us some examples of these different theories applied.
Yeah, I can. I'll tell you right now, I do a snackable strategy every single day. I can go to my Facebook. I don't have it pulled up, so it might take a while, because when I'm sharing my screen, it usually crashes my Facebook. And I actually thought about that. I was I should probably pull examples. But, if you go to my Facebook page today, snackable strategy is the inspirational quote. I do that. I have not missed a day in 2 years. I have a lot of people telling me that, that's why they are interested is because they're like, oh, you're so inspiring. Like, I don't make those up. I get them from my PD. But that I do every single day. This or that, polls every time I'm getting my hair cut. I'm like, which haircut should I get? Which dress should I buy? What should I wear to Punta Cana? You know, calls to action. I probably am about due for one of those. The self-efficacy thing, though, I know, like, one of my most recent posts I just posted right before this call was talking about, like, the time and the money objection, and it was super lighthearted. So I guess it's a humor post, too, because it was me with, like, the Fox Snapchat filter on my face or whatever, and it was just talking about, like, you can do this, you do have the time, you do have the money, because I see you guys eating out and Snapchatting all of your food that you're buying at expensive restaurants. So that's increasing people's self-efficacy just by showing them, yes, you can do this. Let me see what else. Yeah, so that's kind of an example of several. Yeah, so I mean, I can like find some that apply to each of these. I don't want to like bore you guys scrolling just because whenever I share my screen on Zoom, it's super slow. But just off the top of my head, like, does that help at all? I can definitely send you some examples.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Emmy.
Sure. Any other questions? Like last night would be an example. I posted a picture of some groceries I bought. Super simple. I was just like, has anybody tried these? And I got like 12 comments. So that drives up my engagement for the next day. All right. So I will give you your homework. If you guys think of any questions, just unmute yourself or you can post them in the chat. I know that was kind of a lot. It was literally my whole undergrad and grad degree pretty much in 30 minutes. But so my homework for the next week, or really, so for tonight, Carolyn, can we take a screenshot of everybody on this call before we all get off? I can stop sharing.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay, so that's my first assignment is that would be making a social norms post. So we're going to take a screenshot and then we can like share in the team page or something. And I would like for everybody to go out probably tonight and make some type of post just talking about the team, like not about me, not about this call, but just like showing what an awesome community we have, showing that we're all on here learning from each other, whatever twist you want to put on it. That would be a social norms post. It's showing your target market. What's that?
I can see everyone's face, so turn your camera on.
Yeah, I can't see everybody's. I'll shut it up and we can actually take the picture though. You wanna do a countdown?
I don't see Corey.
I don't either. I don't know if she's on video. She might be driving or something.
Okay. Keep going though.
Okay. You want to take a picture now or should I continue?
Whatever you want.
Okay, well that was the first, is just to make a post showing our social norms type of post. You're showing that all the cool kids are here and everybody should join us. Sometime throughout the week, I would like everybody to make an efficacy post, which again is just some type of post that shows people, yes, you can do this. So it's just an objection post. It's just kind of another way of thinking about it. I'll post this in the team page. So pick something that people are telling you they can't do this. So if they're telling you they can't do it because of the money or the time or they don't have a network or they're from a small town, make a post explaining to them why they can. So that's the second one. And then the third one is like in private with one of your people you're talking to. I want you guys to kind of use the temporal theory, which again is that theory that just says bring things to the present. So if you're talking to somebody who's committed to signing up, I want you to pop back in and just say something like, hey girl, I'm just thinking about you. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to meet the team. I can't wait for you to be here with us very soon at Summit. I can't wait for you to be on day 3 or 4 and already feeling great. Or if it's somebody who you're talking to, like just pop back in and kind of paint that picture for them of like whatever their why is, talking about how they're going to have that so soon. Does that make sense? Just kind of like making it very present for them. Okay, so those are the 3 things. I had to give you homework because I'm in teacher mode. We can go ahead and take the picture if you want.
All right. As we know, mine is lagged, so
Hold your smile.
Everyone smile. Keep smiling. Okay. I don't know if that's that. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. Does anyone
Yeah,
have any?
that's all I got. Does anybody have any other questions?
It's not a question, but if you have a dog, it like is your world. And on, I think it was Sunday because it was my brother's birthday, I posted, it was a graphic that I made it was of my dog. So it wasn't like a graphic that I pulled off of Pinterest or anything, but it said share the last picture in your camera roll of your dog that you took. There's 128 comments on it. I don't think I've ever had that many comments on any post that I've ever made in my entire life. So
Yeah.
kids and dogs and anything that's just like life, people are obsessed with, and they want to share and they want to show. And if you're out in public, they're going to show you a picture of their kid anyway on their phone. So anything like that, people swoon over. There's people still commenting on it, and that was from 3 days ago.
That is so true. We actually talked about that in my class, so I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to say dogs, cats, babies, and food. If you can take a picture that is a dog and a cat with your kid while you're eating, it's going to be gold. Like if you can get all of those in there, the most successful post that I've ever had in my life, he's not listening, it was Cody and Ida, and I got over 300 likes. Had nothing to do with me. And my second most successful post was a freaking picture of my cat sitting on a chair in my RV. So animals, significant others, babies, food, they definitely do the best.
I had a question real quick, if you have time. I was just wondering, how often should we incorporate these posts as like a story post of like sharing our story with it? Like how often do you share your story a week?
I mean, I share something of my story. I try to every day. Like, I don't really think there's too much. I mean, if you're going to make like a big whopper story post like that, you know, you don't have to think of it as like that. Like you can just breadcrumb your story in every single day. I mean, everything you post should tell your story in some way. If you're going to do like a big, vulnerable, like hairy, scary story post, like, I don't know, maybe once a week or something, if not more. Because like people aren't going to see all of your posts. So, I mean, I don't really think there's anything that's too much personally.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Sweaty.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your entire 5-6 years of college
No problem.
in one call. I have 2 pages of notes. I'm sure that everybody else has a bunch of notes too. And these are all things that we can take and apply right now. It's not something that we're just going to be like, oh, that was a great call, and then do nothing with it. It's definitely something that we can use right away, and we can use today, tomorrow, and forever. So these are things that you can teach your coaches as you build a team, teach them how to make effective posts. And it's really cool to see how your degree is actually being used in a way that you never thought it would. You're just kind of repurposing it, similar to how I'm repurposing mine. So don't ever let anyone tell you that this is not like a real job, or this isn't anything that like isn't important, because as you can see, real life skills and real life degrees that you have can be applied to this easily. So thank you for sharing everything. I have some notes for myself that I need to start doing. I have to start doing those little quotes again. I used to do them all the time, like forever, and then I haven't done them in like the longest time. So I'm going to start doing those again. Thanks for the reminder about that. But yeah, I'm going to post the call on the page, and I'm thinking of maybe like adding this to some type of like social media training, because I think it's very valuable for everyone. Even if you're not on this call now, if you're watching this recording like a year from now, it's still going to be valuable, relevant content. So thank you for sharing that with us. And
thanks for having me. I'll send you my slides so you have those too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And yeah, super grateful to have you here to share all this
Thanks so much. This was fun.
Anytime.
I had to geek out a little bit.
Yeah.